Hey everybody, thanks for being at the Expert Series. Yep, so the Expert Series is basically a lunch and learn where we all just kind of get together. Someone shares something that they're passionate about, or if they're interested about, or that they have some technical knowledge that they can just sit around and share with people. It's very low-hanging fruit. There's no requirements, no slides. You just sit and talk. Sometimes there's donuts, sometimes there's just me. So without further ado, this is Jonathan Jager. He is a writer, he is an author, he's a games developer, he's a games publisher, he's also a JavaScript guru of sorts. He's also an alum of the University of Michigan, but he's also been one of the faculty's longest members. Today he's going to be talking about his newest thing to show off to people, how to get started as a YouTube creator. So without further ado, Jonathan.
Thanks everyone. Yeah, I think I know everyone here, but I don't know who's watching. So yes, I'm Jonathan. I have always a bit of trepidation about the name Expert Series because I do not consider myself an expert in what I'm about to talk about today, but I have something that I think is kind of interesting that I've been working on, and so I'm going to talk about what I've been working on since February when I launched a new YouTube series, and this is all self-taught information, and there are plenty of people who have much more experience in this area than me, but this is the perspective you're going to get of someone who's jumping in head first. So, what happened? I decided, and I'll get into the reasons in a second, to try to make a daily YouTube series and keep this up for, I set a goal of at least a month, and so I'm still at it. I guess it's been 5 months now, so it's sticking. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about why someone would try to do this, the decisions you need to make in what kind of thing you're going to be making, and how I have been able to sustain it. So first off, why make content for YouTube? So I came up with 4 fundamental reasons. 1, fun, just because you want to, just because you think it's an interesting project. Obviously that's a legitimate reason. But then I think everything else kind of falls into these categories. There are people who are trying to get fame in some degree, whether for its own goal or to establish a brand for use, for marketing yourself in some way. There are people who do it to get money from YouTube. That does work for some people. My understanding is that number of people is quite small, and the amount of money they get is quite large. The curve is such that the top 0.001% gets the boatload of the compensation. It is a curve. There are some people who have what I would think of as a modest number of subscribers, viewers, and when I say modest, I'm talking about 1 million, and they can make it something that pays for its time at least, usually supplementing something else that they're doing. A lot of those people are doing a hybrid model with Twitch, which is viable for a lot of people because they can transfer their skills between those 2 mediums, which are different, and we'll get into that a little bit, but have some stuff in common.
So
and then,
do we give any rough idea of what, let's say, someone with 100,000 subscribers might expect?
I don't have those numbers. What I know about it is know that are in that kind of thing have been a little open about, some of them have been able to quit their day job. Like that's the big, and those people are definitely in the tens to hundreds of millions of subscribers when they're in that category, when they're starting to announce that kind of thing. So, and then the last thing because I want to start with an F, people who want to persuade you of something. That's the other reason. If you've got a message, you need to get out. So, so for me, the reason that I was doing this is that I am a game developer and puzzle designer, and I'm trying to grow a personal audience so that when I have a board game that gets published or whatever, I have people that I can communicate with. So some years back, I started off by making an email newsletter. That was my first foray into a personal audience. That then eventually expanded into starting a personal Discord server where I have content that I post that way. And so this is kind of the third post of that. I don't know what my metaphor is here. Third leg of that stool, I guess. Because those audiences, there are some people who are members of all of those audiences, but most people engage in one of those forms of communication better than the others. So I feel like I've kind of covered my bases a little bit with those three. So that's why I wanted to do this. So then the question is, so I'm going to put something on YouTube. What should I make? I think most of these things fall into one of these three buckets. Either it's something you care a lot about, and that means you can talk about it at length. So that could be, I care about horror movies, and I want to talk about horror movies all the time. Specialist subject is a good thing there. Or some, again, like maybe something with a political bent or whatever. It's something you care a lot about. Something you can do. So that would be making comedy sketches, or someone showing off their skateboard tricks or whatever like that. If you've got a skill, then that is something you can capitalize on, or something you know about. So being instructional, and that's where mine slots in. So I decided that what I can, because I wanted to be able to have content that was more than just one episode. I wanted to be able to continue this. So it needed to be something that I could continue to produce content about. And in this case, the topic that I ended up choosing was pencil logic puzzles, because I am not a world-class puzzle solver, but I have done a lot of the different kinds, and there's plenty to say about this. So that's what I ended up deciding to make. So the next question was, why would someone bother to watch anything that you make? So there are a few reasons. It could be that you have just the most amazing content. That's something you can strive for, but it's hard. It's a hard goal to reach by just willing it. So professional comedians or that kind of thing are going to be able to do that and have that be the reason that people come. A big reason is promotion. So either that's paid placement or marketing in other channels, bringing your audience over there. Clickbait works way better than it should, unfortunately. That's why the titles of all YouTube videos are getting worse and worse. And there are some that I really want to watch, but I don't want to reward them.
Can you shadow watch?
Yeah, I know. Like I've actually used private browsing. I don't think it helps to watch things just because I don't want to reward them for the horrible. He'll be shocked at number 8. But even fairly low key channels like, well, the one that I'm modeling after is one called Cracking the Cryptic, which is a quite popular really, really low production channel of two British guys solving Sudoku puzzles, and it is, you know, they're amazingly good at what they do, but it is amazing that they've done as well as they have, considering how unprofessional it really is. But anyway, even they have titles now that say, "It's amazing this Sudoku has only 2 digits in it," you know, that kind of thing. Okay. Virality is another thing, you know, and that's something you really can't control. Some things just get popular, and then once they get popular, they're going to get more popular. Not much you can do about that. And then, you know, just randomness. The algorithm will just throw random stuff at you sometimes, and that's going to happen. So most of these, other than maybe paying for things or aggressive SEO, aren't really things you can control. What you can control is why people come back after they were there once. So one thing you can do is quality of content, by really putting the time into having well-researched, scripted, you know, just taking the time to make content that is actually worth viewing is one part. And side by side with that is production quality. The really high-end channels that do things like, you know, actually hire editors to spend time to do all the transitions well, get custom background music, get all of the, you know, high-quality cameras and microphones, and, you know, really do a professional production. People will come back for that, even if they don't realize that's why they're coming back. Serialization is a big reason. So if you have any content where you want to see the next bit, and the biggest one that comes to mind here is streamers. So people who are playing a video game, streaming it on Twitch, also putting it on YouTube. People will come back to watch the next part because they want to see what happens, you know, in this story. You can have 60 hours of content of someone playing Skyrim, and people will be coming back for every single one of those because it's one big thing to them. Community is a big reason. Again, easier in the live formats like Twitch, but it definitely exists in the YouTube space as well, of people actually talking to you, talking to each other in comments, and you know, or live comments for YouTube Live, all that kind of stuff. And then consistency is another thing. When videos come out on a schedule that is predictable, that is huge for growing an audience. And once again, I'm looking at this list and thinking, what can I control? What am I capable of? And that last one is the one I'm capable of, is what I decided. I'm going to try all of these to some degree, but the big one is the last one, because that's completely under my control. Can I put things out on a regular basis? Yeah, so that was my question. So what can I control myself? And so my decision was, I have a source of content that I can talk about in this space, and I know that if I make each one short and figure out how to reuse aspects as much as possible so that it becomes a conveyor belt a production line, that I can get the production time down, I can do these on a regular basis, which is once a day. So a video coming out once a day, and 5 to 10 minutes long each time with new content. So that is big for people not forgetting about it and going away. It's big for footprint. So we've got more videos out there, so the likelihood that one of them will get sticky is higher. just because there are more. It's the shotgun approach. But in order to, that's why I set a goal of a month originally, because I thought I could easily burn out of this or determine it's going to take way too much time for what I get out of it. And as it turns out, it was that way, but within 2 or 3 weeks, I was able to streamline things enough that I can record on a weekend and get a week's worth of videos and not worry about it. So, how I ended up doing this. The tools I used ended up being, with almost no exceptions, things I already had. That means I'm probably not using the best tools for the job. I'm certainly not using the best tools for the job, but I'm making it work without an investment of money. So YouTube itself provides a bunch of tools that I'll kind of demonstrate my process there. I started with OBS, which is the gold standard for streaming. It's a free, I think, open source, I'm not positive. Is it open source? Yeah. Open source package that is basically for live compositing of video. So you're picking different sources, and when you watch a streamer and they're dragging their video to the other side because it's covering up part of the interface or whatever, like that's the tool they're almost certainly using. Everyone uses it. And I started off thinking that's what I was going to use. And it's awful. It works. It's very powerful, but it's not a good UI at all. And it was really frustrating to me, and I thought I could make this work, but are there any better ways? And so what I ended up doing, because I'm not streaming, I mean, it's really good at what it does, which is live processing of video. I don't need live processing of video if I put things on YouTube. You can do it that way, but it's fine to edit after the fact. So I'm using iMovie because it's on my computer already. I didn't know how to use iMovie when I started doing this. I'd never used iMovie. It's easy enough. It's pretty limited, but I'll show you what I can do with it, and it's fine. I use the screen recording feature. It's built into the computer. I press Command-Shift-5, record a thing with my microphone. That's most of my content. I use Affinity Publisher for all of my still images that I'm going to talk over and all of my thumbnails. If you're not familiar with Affinity, it is the better Adobe suite. Because it's basically the same thing, but you don't have to have a subscription for it. They actually sell it the way Adobe used to at a reasonable price. So you get the whole thing for like, if you wait for a sale, you get the whole thing for like $80. It's done. So big recommend for Affinity. I used GarageBand to come up with some backing music, and I actually asked a friend who's a guitarist to come up with a quick sting for me to use for intro and outro, so I used that, so I don't have, stock sound that everyone else is using for that stuff, and then use GarageBand to make some backing loops for a chunk of the video. And then I got, the only thing I spent money on, well, I didn't actually spend money on because I asked for it for Christmas, but the only thing I actually bought was a nice microphone. So I got a microphone that's actually a USB microphone, so I don't have to worry about all of the fancy stuff that we have in the awesome podcast studio here. I have a single thing I plug in my computer, and it's better than my built-in microphone. That's all I needed.
How much did you spend on the microphone?
The mic, I think, was something like $80.
Okay.
Something like that. So, I think reasonably nice quality. But I'm using the built-in camera on my computer. The built-in audio on my computer is okay, but once there's background noise, it's mixing a headache. So getting a nice mic was worth it. Let me show you how I put one together. So, again, this is using the freest tools that I have. So first off, the first thing I learned about iMovie as I was trying to put this together is that iMovie has no concept that you might want to make more than one thing that looks works like any other thing. A couple nods over here. There is no concept of a template or any kind of reusable components at all. It's assuming you're starting completely from scratch every time. So I just duplicate the last day and start working from there. Duplicate the last day, give it a new name, open it up, and it's got the wrong stuff in it, but I can replace stuff. So the format of my videos, if you have not seen it, is I've got an intro, this is a tool that I didn't mention. I used Keynote to come up with my little intro transition thing, and exported that as a video. Again, so that's how I have my little
Keynote is just
intro
like
thing.
the Apple equivalent of
PowerPoint,
Yeah.
surprisingly powerful animation.
Yeah, it does a nice job with the animation. Just send it out as a video. And then I do an intro section where I'm talking to the camera and saying what I'm going to do that day, and that's the only time I'm on camera. But that's important to me to make it personable. Basically, if I had anything to announce, that's where it would go. But it's mostly like, what puzzle are we solving today? And if you need to know it, then I just say the rules. Then I am using in Publisher. I have masters set up so that I can every day have the rules to the puzzle and the before and after of the sample, and so I can talk over it, read out the rules to people, explain what they mean, make sure that everyone's on the same page. I've gotten very used to explaining the same words over and over again because I never know when someone's starting, so I'm going to give the definition of orthogonal about, I probably have done that about 120 times, and we'll continue to do it every other day because that's a word that keeps coming up that no one knows. So I do that, I record this using screen recording. Mac OS screen recording is nice because it does a lot of things, including you can have it not only show your mouse, but put a little indicator on the screen every time you click, which really helps people follow along to what you're doing. So I don't have to think about that at all. And I make sure I pick the right microphone because usually it will remember correctly, and sometimes I've noticed if I don't actually pay attention, it will default back to my regular microphone and it doesn't sound great. So I record that way. And then the next chunk is the actual solve, which I'm doing in a web browser using an online tool, whatever is available for the puzzle for the day. Using exactly the same screen record, I just try to scale up or zoom in or zoom out in the web browser till it approximately fills the same size as my recording stage. Do a little overlay in iMovie for the tooltip there, and then at the end I have another outro, which I do I have adopted just doing a little bit of art that I Ken Burns across when I do my outro, and that is from a big directory of art that my dad did. So I just got a big folder of those. So I just pick a different one each day and just do that as a little tag, so each one's a little different. So to put this together, so this is the copy I made of episode 19 that I'm going to make for episode 20. I've already recorded all these chunks, so I'll just show you how to piece it together. So I have recorded, so I record the intro right inside the iMovie. If you press Command I, you get a little quick record, so I just do that way. And then I drag it onto my existing one, which is the trick I learned to be able to have it not mess up all the existing transitions and stuff. It just replaces it. I say replace from start, and then it assumes you want exactly the same length as the old one. So you have to then adjust the end. And I actually have learned I need to start recording a few seconds before I start talking and stop recording a few seconds after I stop talking to avoid weirdness. So I just kind of look at my face and see when I've stopped. And I look at my face see when I stop looking stupid at the beginning. And right there. And then that's done for that. And the next thing is sound. So if you look at the levels, they're really low. And that's actually, I think, the number one, the easiest and most overlooked thing in terms of making a video look more professional than it is just paying attention to the sound levels. Amateurish things are always way too quiet, and it is really easy, especially with the tools built in. All I have to do is click auto, which does a leveling. It makes sure everything's about the same volume. And then I crank it up so you can see at the bottom those little waveforms. I just crank it up until I'm just starting to see some of them get into the yellow zone and not getting into the red zone. And good, done. That'll be fine.
One thing that I've, just as a YouTube viewer, one thing that I've noticed, not with yours because you've got a fixed mic and sitting at a desk, but you can tell pretty quickly an amateurish YouTuber if they're recording in mono or they're not mic'd appropriately. Like they'll use a fixed mic but be moving around the room or something like that. And so you can, especially if you're listening on headphones, you can hear fading and things. So not only audio levels in post, but also good mic setup at the time, recording in stereo and then making sure that the audio is in stereo in post makes a huge difference.
Yes. So then my rules section. So this one, I didn't talk about where I get this content from. So there is this is actually related to the other YouTube channel I talked about, American Cryptic. They have people on their Discord who post a puzzle a day. And so I am using their puzzles from 3 years ago and just going through, they do a PDF collection of them at the end of every month. So this is the content that I'm coming from. This is where I got the rules text from. I usually correct some grammar because I'm a pedant. And then, so this is where I'm starting from. So they generally will do a new puzzle type every day, but occasionally repeat them. So again, I'm trying to make myself as efficient as possible. I'm not going to re-record those rules every time. So I got a big directory that I just have rules by name. So this one is called curve data. So I find that one, and I'm going to drop that in here on top of this one. Again, it's long. This one was a complicated rules thing, so I have to make that longer. I do exactly the same thing with the audio. And this is my background music that I do on just that chunk of the videos, and that I have to resize. I have a loop that's something like 5 minutes long that I never need the whole thing, so I can always just drag it to approximately there. And then finally the solve itself, which I also recorded, and we'll drop in and do the same thing with. This one is shorter, and it tells me, hey, there's not enough media here. Oh no, it'll be shorter. These clips, I also start recording early and stop recording late, but I trim that off when I save the clip. So when I drag it in here, I don't have to do that every time. And then, for the outro, I want some art in here to replace this one. So I go over here to find the next one, take it out of this folder so I don't reuse it by accident. Drop it in there. Replace it, and here I go up to the crop and say I want a Ken Burns effect, and I say, what would be nice? It would be nice if we started here and zoomed out to maybe here. That would look nice. And that's it. And then all I have to do is go back and say share project, which is their name for save. Share it as a file. Now, this will let you go straight to YouTube, and I've never had good results trying that, ever once. So I always save that out as a file, and that will go into this big folder of videos. videos, and it takes a bit to figure out how to do that. And so then, once that's done, in YouTube, I will be able to create a new video. Okay, so this is going to take a few seconds. And I'll say upload new videos, and then this is where I'm going to place it when it's ready. While we're waiting for that, any questions on this? Or has anyone done this with other tools?
Do you edit your videos, like you redo stuff? You're like, oh, I said that's in a weird way, or I don't like. I'm really bad at solving that. I'm gonna redo it and solve it again.
Those are good questions. Okay, so editing minimal, because again, I'm trying to get these out once a day, so I don't want to spend time on it. I do on the intro. If I screw up, I'll just start part of the intro again because they're 30 seconds long. So it's not worth editing anything. It's just try again. With the rules explanation, also short, same thing. If I really mess up, I'll start over. If I have to sneeze or something in the middle, I will keep a gap after that so that I can see it easily in the waveform, and I can edit that in iMovie, though that happens very rarely. And for the solve, if I screw up, I have made a discipline for myself to let that be in there, because that's part of the point, is to show people how I'm learning.
So you haven't pre-solved it. You're like solving it
Solving
in real
live,
time.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
In half the cases, I have done the type of puzzle before, just not the specific one. But I consider that part of the content, is showing people how I'm doing that. So then I will go to the video that just exported, and that will go up to YouTube. Now here's the YouTube UI for making a video. The best thing it gives you is this button for the thing I'm using, reuse details. So I pick the previous one that I just did, reuse everything, and then I edit the bits that change. This is how I'm able to do this in any kind of speed. So the title, I'm going to keep the same title. I'm not going to try anything clickbaity. I'm going to update the episode number. I am going to say what kind of puzzle it was, and I attribute the setter. Jovial likes her name to be lowercase, and down here for the rules, I usually will copy that from this one, which I have already grammar checked. Put that in here, and then the other bits that I need to change are the links to solve it yourself, which I both get from the PDF. So I'll copy those two, and by the time I'm done doing this, it will have finished uploading, which is awesome. Do these two, and then the last thing is this bit, which is weird to me, but this is how you get those chapter markers in YouTube.
Oh, is that how you do it?
Yeah, there's no interface for it at all. It only scrapes it from the description. So you have to, in the description, have timestamps and the words that show up, and the first timestamp has to be 0. You have to have, and that's how you get those. So in order to figure out what the timestamp is, I just scrub and see, okay, so it is at 42 seconds where I start doing rules, and it is at 3:08 where I start doing the solve. So then I go over here and update this to 42 and this to 3:08, and I call it good. The rest of it is the same every day. Then thumbnail, it will automate a thumbnail for you. In the case of mine, that would be an extremely bad thumbnail because it would be a partial solve, and so it's like both not attractive and a spoiler at the same time. It's like everything's bad. So I make thumbnails that I make as YouTube-y as possible
So great.
by having, again, using Publisher. I just have a set of headshots. I drag one in to the slot every time. I drag the before and after, and I update the name. And they look YouTube-y. And there are reasons that those things look like that. I mean, like A/B testing engagement with a face is way higher than without.
What's your most successful headshot?
That one, obviously.
That is interesting. That hasn't been like which one hasn't mattered at all. But having one versus not having one is night and day. And I choose to go with bold colors for the background, also to stand out for all, because most of them are more like a photo look for the whole thing. So then the last thing, an end screen I started doing. Again, I just repeat those throughout the whole volume. So there's a subscribe link and a link to a playlist from the previous volume of them. Just keep that. And
So that's how you can refer them to other things?
yeah, that's how I can, yeah. And of course, with the automated related videos that theoretically will keep it going as well.
Can you go back to the video elements?
Yeah.
Was there not?
Yeah, so you can use subtitles. I would love to for accessibility, but it's just like I don't have the time to do that. And
Do you have to put the transcript in then, or is it little AI?
yeah, I mean it will do auto-generate them
Okay.
if you don't do anything.
Okay.
I would love to do human ones, but that would triple my production time.
Yeah.
I've heard that the non-YouTube AI tools, there are like third-party backups and stuff that are supposed to be really a lot better than YouTube's.
Yeah.
Ones.
The big win for me is the type of content I'm making and the rate at which I'm speaking means the auto-generated ones do a pretty good job. Because I don't have dialogue with two people. I don't have background sounds. It's all very parsable. With the only thing that gets wrong are basically names of puzzles, which are often Japanese or something. You know, it gets confused about that, but that is minor for a viewer. Cards would be stuff during the video that pop up.
So when they say, let's click here or something, is that what they're doing? Like when they say, let's click that link and they point?
Yeah. If I went down the TikTok route, I'd need to get better at that. That's not me. And then the last thing, visibility. Normally, what I do, and I will be doing this after the fact here, is then once I'm done, I save it as private so that I can watch the whole thing, and then I schedule it. So I'll do that right here to show you, and then content, it will get sorted by upload date when everything else is by scheduled date, which is a little annoying. So I would vet the whole thing, which I will do later, and then I will schedule it for the next date. And that is done. So why watch it back beyond the obvious reasons is that there's a YouTube bug that I haven't found anyone else talking about, and it has been hitting me, so it's something to do with me, where one time out of 50, it will introduce a weird visual glitch in my video at some point in the video, and it will be gone or in a different place if I re-upload. And I haven't had any explanation for this, and I can't know about it without watching the video. It just shows the first frame of the video in the middle of the video.
Oh.
The audio is fine. I don't know why. Video file is always fine, so anyway.
So then what do you do to report an issue or something? Or?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
So just upload it again and hope
And just
watch
hope.
it again.
Okay. Wow.
it's been annoying, but it's infrequent enough and solvable enough that I just move on and this is my solution. So then I have the new video ready. And then I can look at the analytics to see what's happening. I mean, these are all, a lot of these are based around people who are really trying to get engagement this way. And I would like more, but I don't care enough to do a lot of this stuff. So you can see what were with each one, it will show you audience retention throughout the video. So for me, I have a rigid format. It's the same every time, so you can always see but it will show you where in the video you had however many views and how it went up and down. This one stayed pretty consistent throughout. People who make a much bigger variety of content would get a lot more value out of this than I do, because they would be able to say, oh, hey, when I stop and talk about this thing, that's what people leave. And it also tells you, to some degree, how people find the video, but I don't know what I'm supposed to get out of the fact that it's browse features, okay? And you can see what people were searching for. Apparently they were looking for ESP32 motor control. I don't know what that is.
ESP32 was that automation thing.
Okay.
I don't know how they landed on your puzzle from there.
Yeah, all right.
Foursquare.
Interestingly, this is where I would have expected to be actual names of puzzles are pretty low in the last 28 days. And most of the people who are searching for this are probably looking for the video game that has this name instead of me. But if they find me, that's fine. And I'll show you which videos did best, and you can tell what season they're from by what color they are. So there's stuff that's probably interesting to people, but hasn't been particularly stuff that I use.
How do you break up your seasons? Like when do you decide to do a new season?
When I'm getting the content from these collections, they're already in collections that were a month. So that is my season break, and then I do, so far only one, but I'm planning on more of little mini seasons of something else. So I did one for a week where I was making puzzles instead of solving them. And then I'm planning on one soon with viewer submitted puzzles where I'll do the puzzles that people sent in rather than from here. So I'll do that for as long as I have them, and then go back to this. So
Let us know when you start that. I'm gonna think of a pretty sweet puzzle.
feel free. Taking submissions.
How long did it take you to find your rhythm for efficiency wise?
Probably it was about, I think I kind of plateaued after about 2 weeks. I kind of knew what I was doing at that point. And there's, like I said, probably a lot more efficiency that I could claw out of better tools if I actually got some professional video editing software instead of.
But that takes time to learn too.
Right,
Which is
yeah.
a headache and a half.
Yeah.
Trying to edit your video and you're confused as crap because you have all these tools.
Yeah, in the short term, that's not going to be a win. So, opportunities, new formats. Could try things like actual live streaming or those kinds of stuff. Maybe someday. More just getting the word out, because I'm pretty happy with a very modest number of subscribers. It's more than people I physically know. So I consider that to be the fact that I'm, the fact that the number goes up, even if a little bit, every week or two, it's a good feeling.
Where's the subscriber number? Is it
My current, 312. Yeah, so that's a baby, but yeah, considering I'll probably actually know 50 of them.
Right.
51, that's 250 people that I don't know that are watching, so that's great. As long as that keeps going up.
How did you select the time of day that you post? Was
Oh, yeah, pretty randomly. I wanted to be awake and able to respond if something went wrong.
that- Yeah.
So I chose 8 because it's before my work day and I'm awake. So that's really all the thought that went into it. And once I figured out these problems that I mentioned with the video being corrupted on the early ones when I didn't check before I said, I had watched the whole thing locally and didn't watch it on YouTube and didn't know it until it was released. Like I learned my lesson on those, but since then it's been pretty rare that I've had to actually address something. But that's why.
Have you thought about posting to other platforms like TikTok or Instagram or?
TikTok is probably a never for me because I don't think I have the energy. The format requires a much, I think, a higher intensity type of production than I do. The calm things don't do well on TikTok, from my experience. Yeah. So YouTube is more varied in that regard and has more long form things that do well.
Right. Yeah, I guess if you were to do that, it would have to be like taking your long form video
Yeah,
and just
making it short.
flipping it or something to like
Yeah.
kind of advertise like or market it.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about, so the, again, the behemoth in the room is Cracking the Cryptic, strangely enough. And they have some shorts content where they will do other stuff. So usually it's like, I'm going to solve connections or whatever, something tiny like that. And I don't even know if they do TikTok on the YouTube shorts, same thing.
Shorts, yeah.
So maybe someday, but I've got, juggling Discord and Substack and YouTube is enough for me, considering I don't get paid directly for any of it. My compensation for all of it is an audience for other stuff. So, yeah, exactly. So, there you have it. Thank you.
Ron is clapping. Ron Radcliffe.
Oh, Ron's laughing. Gotcha.
Any other questions?
Room tone?
Huh?
Room tone? No.
Thank you, Jonathan. We have open submissions for July through November for expert series. If you're interested in signing up, I know I've got a couple of people that are interested. Thank you, Jonathan, for sharing how to get started being a YouTube creator. If you have any other questions, let Jonathan know or let myself know if you want to sign up for the expert series. Otherwise, please enjoy a donut, except for the pecan one if you still want to be a member. Otherwise, thanks for being here. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.
Right.